We're live now, so let's get started. Miguel, Brad, and Alex, thank you for joining us. This is the NFT Marketplace panel. We have an esteemed group of panelists with Miguel Romero representing Nifty Gateways, one of the earliest adopters of the NFT art marketplace, as well as Alex Salnikov, who's the CEO of Rarible, another one of the OG NFT art and sports collectible overall kind of Amazon style of marketplaces, and Brad Cam, who's a little bit on the other side of the table, representing Unstoppable Domains as one of the co-founders, which is reinventing domains for NFTs. So that's just a brief background of all of you guys. It would be great to now go through one by one and just share your own backgrounds and how you got into NFTs and got into your role today. Maybe starting with Alex. Let's go clockwise.
Hey, Michael, thank you for the invitation today. So happy to be here. So I'm Alex Salnikov. I'm co-founder and chief product officer of Rarible. So yeah, small correction. I've got into blockchain in 2012. That was a long time ago. You couldn't do much except for like buy and sell Bitcoin back then. That's why I started building startups that allowed you to do some things with trading. Yeah, so we built like exchanges, fiat on ramps, off ramps, trading robots, so mostly like financial stuff. It's like it was a little bit strict in terms of like you're working with things like 0.1% APY. And the whole blockchain world is a little bit like financial and almost I can say was boring before NFTs came into the place. NFTs are emotional, they are attaching to the users, they are so much closer to the user. So I don't know, we set up a small marketplace inside the team just when we decided what are we going to do next. We set a small marketplace, we traded a couple NFTs back and forth, and it just felt right. It felt amazing to buy and sell that. I bought it. It was almost like just flipping, but it felt right. That's why we decided to launch Rarible as agnostic platform to create and sell NFTs. Like just create and sell whatever you want. We didn't want to target any particular use case, and we wanted people to experiment, and they did. And that's how we became like one of the premier platform for the art market, and then like expanded to the adjacent categories. So happy to be here today. Thanks for the invitation. Great guys on the panel with us, so enjoying.
Thank you, Alex. And Brad, it would be great for you to share your story to the audience and how you got into NFTs and started to focus on domains.
Sure. So hi, everybody. My name is Brad. I'm co-founder at Unstoppable Domains. We build domain names on blockchains, and domains are NFTs stored by you, very different than a traditional domain, which would be stored by GoDaddy, who can take it away from you, make updates to it, and all that stuff. So similar to not your keys, not your crypto, not your domain, not your keys, not your domain. I got into crypto in 2013. I was living in 20 Mission in San Francisco, which is this kind of crazy crypto hacker house that a bunch of early crypto companies were started out of. There was the second Bitcoin exchange was launched in the basement of the building. A bunch of early Bitcoin meetups were there. Vitalik was giving talks in the courtyard before Ethereum went live. So everybody when I moved to San Francisco was in some way, shape, or form a crypto person. So I went down the rabbit hole pretty early after getting off the plane from San Francisco, and then been following it ever since. Always knew I'd be getting into the space in some way, but wasn't doing anything super active in the crypto world for the first few years, just kind of following it, buying, etc. And then in 2018, a good friend of mine founded Unstoppable, came across this idea of domain names, which had been floating around in the crypto world for a while as a way to replace long addresses with a simple name you could remember for crypto payments. And so when he started working on that, I joined in.
Awesome. Thank you, Brad. And Miguel, what about you? Also, great background, I've got to say. We were talking about that before. Very Ready Player One-esque. How did you get into NFTs and start with Nifty?
How's it going, guys? Miguel Romero, digital communications at Nifty Gateway. So I'm actually a computer scientist turned marketer. I graduated with a degree in computer science, and as I started my career early on, just shifted my focus to just Bitcoin blockchain. I started off in a small boutique marketing firm. We used to help blockchain protocol level companies do their marketing, and I used to help just kind of like the original ETH killers and all these platforms that were focused on just competing with one of the bigger ones, and shifted my focus to NFTs. Like we previously mentioned, there's a lot of heart and soul and just like that more creative aspect of blockchain, and that's kind of how I just found Nifty Gateway. The art behind me is actually from one of our artists, Mika Johnson, and I actually had a Twitter conversation with him. I asked he put out a post that physical collectibles weren't going to be as popular anymore because of what NFTs were bringing to the table. And I kind of asked them like, hey, what about hype for people who are looking for that hybrid perspective of actually owning something physical with it being authenticated on the blockchain? He said, you should go check out what Nifty Gateway is doing. And I was like, yeah, sure. I'll go check out what Nifty Gateway is doing. They had, I think it was back in February. So people had done his drop already with us. And I saw that he was doing the infinite displays. And I saw that Nifty Gateway was hiring, so I shot my shot, and this is where I am now, just running on digital communications at Nifty Gateway.
Awesome. So all of you guys have been in the NFT space for quite a long time, and really helped to shape where the market is today, which I think we're still just scratching the surface in terms of mainstream adoption and usefulness of NFTs. But I think it would be interesting for you guys to share your perspectives with the audience on how the NFT marketplace has changed over time, like how it started, and what you're seeing now in terms of users and collectors. Maybe let's go the opposite way. Miguel, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I would say it's just more like a grassroots open, like everyone started off as just an experiment. We want to think back at the original projects in the NFT space, like CryptoPunks, CryptoKitties, and just how they kind of like paved the way for projects moving forward to do something similar. And we're seeing this especially here at Nifty, where folks are just creating now just more their dedicated communities with each project that comes onto the platform. And just in general, I think another good example of like the CryptoPunks are still going on with Me Bits, and then like the Bored Ape Yacht Club is also another good example, who's also like has a really dedicated community. The art is there, and it's just a different focus to what people are used to seeing from NFTs. But I think it's just that shift from these micro communities and just doing the big bit outlook and perspective of what they're trying to accomplish with each project that does come up with their own NFTs. And I think it's just interesting to see how as we continue to see these new projects come into the space, how what kind of ingenuities they come up with to kind of like bring the attention to the space, and what kind of new things that they bring to the table.
Thanks, Miguel. Brad, what about yourself? How have you seen the evolving landscape from your marketplace and the change in usefulness and in collector perspectives?
I think the thing that seems to have changed the most over the past couple of years is kind of who's in the space. So if we were to rewind to maybe 2 years ago, I'm thinking about the like NFT NYC has been this like meetup for NFT projects for quite a while. And the crazy thing about it is it's a great conference. I strongly recommend it. It's happening again in person, where almost everybody who's there is a builder. So it's like there's almost no audience members that are not also building companies, which is very unique, very cool. And if you were to rewind to 2 years ago, it was essentially projects all for the kind of the hardcore crypto community. And I think the thing that the NFT market as a whole has done really well over the past, maybe even just year, but probably the past 2 years, is expand the pool of crypto users. So I think that there's actually new users that have come into the crypto market specifically because of NFT art and collectibles and all of these communities that are building around them. And that's pretty amazing. And that's also the goal, I think, or at least should be the goal of crypto apps is to help onboard users into crypto in general. And I think NFT art and collectibles and these communities have successfully done this just in the past 12 months in a way that I haven't really seen in crypto before. Like if you go back to the ICO wave in 2017, a lot of new people came in, but they came in as tourists. They didn't. And I think that this is a bit different. Not everyone came in as tourists, but I think that this is a bit different this time because there's a lot of things that, I mean, I've talked to artists about this and they're saying like, I used to have to go and ship physical products. I don't anymore. This is better. So I think that's here to stay. And that's probably the thing that I've seen that's been the most interesting over the past year.
Brad, you mentioned that just about everyone in the audience now is a builder, and I would agree. There's really so much opportunity in the NFT space across the board, and we have come a long way from the CryptoKitty model. So I wonder how, I guess with domains, I wonder how you're thinking about expanding your market. Like there's opportunities everywhere. How do you think about what to focus on?
So for us, it's a little bit more straightforward because domain names are kind of like they're like your digital IDs for the internet. That's a way, they're like your username. They're a way for you to receive money. They're a way for you to go and show off your content or show off what you own. And so the way that they're more used in more places. So we are focused almost exclusively on getting integrations. So domain names work for payment apps like Coinbase Wallet, OKEX, Trust Wallet, etc. And you can just type in brad.crypto and send me money. So domains become more valuable, more useful, more important if that works in every crypto app that you use. Every place where you might transfer crypto, that the domains just work. So that's our primary goal. And then our secondary goal is to make domains work for websites in as many places as possible. And so we've been working with browsers to get domains integrated. And right now, .crypto domains work in Brave browser and work in Opera browser, just like .coms do. This is kind of the first time that this has actually happened, where browsers have supported non-DNS domain name systems. And the reason why is because they're believers in NFTs and in blockchains, and they believe that domains as NFTs are actually going to be better for the internet than the current domain name system. So that's been a really big change. That's all just happened. That's all just in the past few months.
That is very exciting. Thanks, Brad. And so, Alex, Rarible's been around for a while. I'm sure that you have seen a lot of changes in terms of the value from collectors, interest in, or value from creators, interest in collectors. It'd be great for you to share your perspectives to the audience on how you have seen the marketplace for NFTs evolving.
Yeah, so I would start probably rolling back a couple of years ago when we had the CryptoKitties model. And what was really the key in that model of NFTs is that in order to create NFTs, you actually needed to deploy a contract. You needed to, like most of the NFTs for several years were created just by developers, game developers or project developers that were issuing NFTs for their projects. That was the main way of how NFTs like were born here, and they were traded on OpenSea mainly. OpenSea is like a secondary marketplace, and then came the next wave of the NFTs, and it was really born with user-generated NFTs. So we had like Super Rare, Rarible, and like right now so much more project that allowed people to create their own NFTs by just pressing buttons and submitting your work into blockchain with your wallet. It was right now it feels like super native, but at some point that was actually like a big discovery that you can create NFTs by yourself. There was a lot of questions like, how do we prove authenticity? How do we maintain quality? And all sorts of those questions. But it became real to create your NFTs without being a developer. That was really important point in time. And then we had early people who jumped into the space, like the early crypto art crew. What their perception was really about this whole idea of NFTs being the new wave of the new way of expressing your creativity, and they were all crypto native. They supported NFTs in their core. So that was a unique combination of people, and that cohort remained quite small. So the OGs of the crypto art and the NFTs went viral and global, and basically. And that was not only about ideas anymore, but actually about new possibilities. Because before that, you can't sell a JPEG on the internet right now. It's not really possible. So NFTs like opened up a lot of doors for non-crypto native. We've onboarded a ton of people. Like 50% of our users never had any crypto in their wallets when they joined. So they adopted custodian wallets like Fortmatic or Taurus and started doing things. And now we see a little bit of an oversupply on the market. We have a lot of creators came, like basically every creator that I know tried to create NFTs. So now is the key answer what collectors really want from the market. I guess the several next months will be about collectors in the space.
And so Alex, we've been doing some cool drops together. You guys announced, or you guys did the drop for Dole, which is the first Fortune 1000 brand, I believe, to do an NFT drop. You also did the Floyd Mayweather drop recently, you're about to do the Ozuna drop, which all have audiences of people globally. I wonder how the types of conversations you must be having is changing from, and the types of people wanting to do drops changing from, first-time NFT collectors or creators to some of the biggest brands, celebrities, and influencers in the world. What's that like? And also, I'd love to for you to share your perspective. You're seeing a lot of NFTs. They have different usefulness and utility baked in. How do you consider what utility to include, and how do you support the brands or the celebrities in creating usefulness, or you just want to focus on having a marketplace for creators to put whatever they want?
Yep, it's a great question. We did this. We're really seeing this evolution of people coming and dropping, and at some point that was, wow, we have somebody with 20,000 subscribers to drop a wearable. How insane that is. And it went to all the biggest brands out there that are interested in the NFT world. And we are actually we're still keep our focus on the community. We try to feature other people that don't have a lot of follower base right now, just because it feels native for the cryptocurrency. It was created to empower the smaller artists, and that's what we're trying to do here. So we are not really picky about things. We are mostly provide tools for people to create their stuff, and we feature something like exceptional happening on the marketplace. But all the rest, we're trying to be as most agnostic about the content as possible. We don't want to curate. We are one of the most open platforms out there for creators, and that's what we want to do.
Thanks, Alex. And so back to you, Miguel. You guys are obviously a lot more focused on the curation, and if I understand correctly, you dropped a lot of the you did a lot of the early NFT drops with famous musicians specifically, and recently took down a lot of the calendar of drops that you were anticipating doing. So I'd love to hear your perspective on that, how you think about curation, and the type of NFTs that you're looking to put onto Nifty.
And I think one of the most important things to know is that our focus was more on listening to our community. We have a pretty big Discord at this point. We have about 28,000 passionate Nifty Gateway folks who on a day-to-day kind of like share their perspectives and on it. And to what Alex mentioned too, like we have people like Osuna, and we dropped with Eminem, and like these big mainstream people. It was more to offer the platform and just like the opportunity for people to experience what NFTs bring to the table, and just kind of like from looking at it from the other side, kind of like, you know, these were people who were going to come in and kind of like experience what's a blockchain, what's an NFT, what's crypto. So, you know, you kind of want to educate those folks, and it's kind of like a way to teach individuals about our space, which is always a positive thing. You know, some people do stick around and some people don't, which is perfectly fine too. But I think from a curation standpoint and us just lowering the amount of drops, the focus there was just more on listening to what our community wanted, and our community just wanted us to just dedicate more of our time to artists who bring more than just the NFTs and just like the experience overall. There's a few of our artists. We recently did one with Daniel Arsham, who's really big in the traditional art world, and he brought this like the smart contract aspect of it, like we were talking about earlier, where his piece would change over the year depending on the season, and that's coded into the smart contract. And then we have folks like Too Much Lag, who did his Le Anime early in the year, where he has different souls attached to the addition of the NFT that you purchase on Nifty Gateway. Me, for example, I'm soul number 401. So if I go and look into the Nifty, into the Too Much Lag world, I get to see the soul, and the NFT in the front end is different from what it looks like in the back end. So I think the focus there was just making sure that the projects that we do bring is a bigger scale, just a big grand thing, either from an education standpoint. If we do bring somebody who has a big community, then we have the opportunity to teach new folks about the space. And then for our already dedicated crypto folks, like how are we pushing the envelope with this particular drop, either be it from the smart contract perspective, the art perspective. There's a lot of angles to approach this when it comes to curating a drop, and that's just in general.
Awesome. And so Alex, you mentioned that you have more of an open perspective, and creators can put whatever they want, and you don't really get involved in the creative process and or in the consideration of usefulness project. You provide the marketplace and let the creators create and provide whatever functionality they want. Miguel, I wonder from your perspective if you are if you support the creative process in any capacity, or if you how or if you are looking to support usefulness in your NFTs, or in the NFTs that are curated on Nifty, I should say.
And I mean, we have our engineering team does an amazing job of just helping kind of get all of these things in place for our artists who do hop on. And for example, I think a good example of this is Mad Dog Jones. He has his replicator project going on now, where he actually outsourced and got somebody who is particularly really good with the smart contract concept. And we do have our own people who do help with this process. But I think what it comes down to is just the idea that they particularly may have, and how can we apply it to other artists in the future. So we're also mindful of that when we do bring in projects, and we kind of create something new. We kind of like have this option to share with the other artists, and they kind of like iterate on each other to kind of keep pushing the envelope in terms of what they are creating. So it's always exciting to see, like, I saw an artist may go, I saw this particular artist do this in their smart contract. I have an iteration of that we kind of want to do, and we kind of like keep building off of that. So it's like utility from it, depending on what artists want to accomplish. And then we kind of just keep going from there. So it's not big, tremendous steps unless the artist has a really big idea that we kind of help navigate that space. But baby steps, because it's still a lot of things people need to learn to pick up, and the space is still fairly new. So there's a lot of things to learn to actually how to create these ideas that certain artists we do drop with have.
Cool. So with Miguel, we've heard Nifty doing some NFT drops with some of the biggest celebrities in the world. Same with Alex and Rarible, some Fortune 1000 companies, also some of the biggest celebrities. And Roundtable is integrating domains into browsers. I think it would be an interesting topic for you guys to share, maybe starting with Brad. You must be having conversations with, or looking to have conversations with Google, Safari, and Internet Explorer organizations that are probably much less certainly much less in the NFT space. And then Alex and Miguel, I imagine that you guys must also be having conversations with enterprises, not creators necessarily, although enterprises do create. How are those conversations going with the more traditional market, not the NFT focused market?
So I guess what's happened over the past few months that's been pretty unusual, pretty interesting, is just how much all of these folks from traditional businesses have been looking at NFTs. And so I think the way that we've probably felt it, maybe we felt it slightly less directly than the other two guys here, is people, lots of celebrities, others looking to claim their domain names. So we've seen that a lot. We've seen essentially every tries to enter the crypto space. There's probably a couple things they do. They probably shoot over a note to the Nifty Gateway folks. They probably reach out to the Rarible folks, maybe a couple of others, and then they reach out to us and they get a domain name. And then some of those people are using that to display their art. So we have we built a little NFT art collection template that we have a whole bunch of people using. And the way it works is that the website goes and looks at the art that is owned by the domain owner, and then auto generates a website based on that. So it's kind of like my verified collection. If whatever I own is what's displayed, if I were to sell something, it'll disappear from my NFT gallery website. If I buy something, it'll show up. And so we've seen some uptick from that in terms of mainstream audience. In terms of the mainstream browsers, I think the crypto market needs to grow a bit more. We're still quite small. I think that we think that we've grown a lot over the past couple of years, and we have maybe a couple 100 million users or something like that. But compared to what Google and Safari are used to, crypto is still small time, and so I think we've got a few more years to kind of grow into the enterprise. And I also think that's just not the phase that we need to be in yet. I think that the thing that the community needs to do is lean into really, really awesome and important use cases, and not focus on, how do we market, how do we whitewash crypto so that it can go mainstream. I think what'll happen is that mainstream people will go crypto. Crypto won't go mainstream, just like the internet. Like memes went mainstream. The internet didn't turn sanitized and start sounding like the old media companies or anything like that. So I think that's the trend. Everyone's going to go crypto. Everyone's going to be posting Doge memes. Everyone's going to be doing all that good stuff. Like that's, I think, the direction. The people are going to come in rather than us go out, so to speak.
Interesting perspective. Alex, what about from your position? Are you and how are the traditional enterprises picking up to NFTs? Do you think they're getting it, and more of the art side of the market?
I probably have a big message for everybody from the traditional world who is looking at us. And just when you ask if they are getting it, I had an instant thought popping up in my mind. Not fully. Often when they come into the market, they ask, okay, NFTs are great, and now can you put all that blockchain stuff away from us? So can our users log in with email and password, pay with credit card, and get NFTs? And this is all great. This is what we're going to do with the marketplace, just because obviously we want to give users what they get used to, and non-crypto users don't get used to anything except for that. And this is all great. But the key here is to maintain interoperability. So when you bought an NFT, you want to be able to go and sell it on another marketplace. So it's one of the really most important parts of the NFT world, that the content is detached from the platform now. You can have the content that doesn't belong to any platform, that was just created by you and it's yours. And that's why we really need to maintain this interoperability when we're talking with the brands, with the traditional businesses that are coming to the world. One of the big initiatives of Rarible is Rarible Protocol, for everybody to be able to adopt our technology, to onboard to the NFT world faster as the business. And we are fully into interoperability. So if you create an asset in form of NFT, you need to have another platform that you can connect your assets to and display them. So Brad mentioned this NFT gallery. That's the perfect example of how that can look just because you need another places where you can use your NFTs. If that's an in-game asset, ideally there should be another game where you could use it. So again, people traditional people are coming here. They are much more fast on onboarding NFTs than, for example, banks were adopting crypto. So it took how many years for banks to just start offering their institutional clients the first crypto products. So NFTs are going much more faster to the crowd, but not fully there.
Definitely faster, because NFTs are reinventing music, entertainment, sports, real estate, watches, cars, anything that's non-fungible. Whereas the fungible side of the cryptocurrency market is challenging banks, governments, the Fed, fiat currency, which is, I would say, more of a threat to the traditional system. Banks, I guess, have more influence than creators. So definitely, I'd say an interesting point there. So I think Rarible and Miguel, Alex and Miguel, you guys are focused solely on Ethereum. And Brad, with Unstoppable, I think you have Ethereum.crypto domains as well as Zilliqa.zil domains. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe let's go to Miguel and then the other way. Ethereum is super super congested. To mint on Ethereum is not cheap. To send NFTs on Ethereum is also not cheap. Are you guys thinking about integrating other protocols, or and aside from Brad, or in addition to Zilliqa, or how do you guys think about the congestion on Ethereum and the other protocols that are building NFT functionality?
So I guess for us, we would say that the ecosystem around Ethereum has been a huge advantage, and I think that the trade-off that you're kind of making is between integrations, like interoperability and cost. And so Ethereum has all of the interoperability, but it also has high chains have really low cost, but low interoperability. And then maybe the one other caveat about the others is that they may have high cost when they get popular. So oftentimes the way that blockchains are competing with Ethereum is they're like, hey, come over to me. I have really low fees. And then the reason they have really low fees is because no one's come over yet. And once they have, then you might be in the same spot. So that argument is not compelling to developers who've been looking at this and understand how that works. So I think that what we're thinking about is mostly around scaling solutions on Ethereum, and that's generally also what we're hearing from others in the market.
Miguel, what about your perspective? You guys are, I think, 100% Ethereum, which is not cheap to mint and not cheap to trade. How are you handling that? And are you focused solely on Ethereum, or are you more blockchain agnostic in your approach?
No, I think for sure. Looking ahead and just thinking about our plans towards the future. I think based solely in Ethereum, and just to echo what Brad mentions, like all these protocol level layer and all these blockchains that do like kind of preach we have fast transaction rates and kind of like it's cheap to do stuff on our blockchain. It's just because the usability isn't there. There's no one actually using the blockchain to actually like real world test it. One thing is like in your testnet, you're getting these crazy insane numbers, and then if you go mainnet and there's no action, of course, for the only ones on processing, you do bring all these people on that'll quickly change. But fingers crossed for ETH 2.0. The Ethereum team just continuing to progress and just fix current issues, and just being more optimistic about just Ethereum in general. And I think as people are just like seeing these different solutions come up and layer 2 and all these different things that will for sure help kind of alleviate the pain points currently. But I think for now, I think we're steady trekking on Ethereum. And then of course with the fees, like we pay it all for our artists and we kind of like take care of it. So the prices do fluctuate in terms of buying gas, but we work with it. Just wait for it to go down a bit, and if we have to pay more, then we pay more. But for sure, I think just some fingers crossed for ETH 2.0 for sure.
Alex, what about you?
So I guess it's more or less just now that the future of blockchains multi-chain. So we're looking for the cross-chain architecture. We are working internally on adopting other top platforms with that proven track record for NFTs. Basically, long term, we are going to have all of them connected. It's just like the question of in what order are we doing that. So our near-term goals are adopting some EVM compatible layer 2 to first of all allow more cheap minting of assets, and then going to other platforms like one by one for the supply that is there.
Awesome. We've got 3 minutes left. Rapid fire questions. One sentence. Alex, what's the biggest opportunity for marketplaces today, and where do you see, one sentence each, where do you see NFTs in 5 years?
I guess the biggest opportunity for the marketplaces is to go out of crypto, to allow just the simple, just easy onboarding for the day-to-day creator that got used to sit on like their Instagram or social networks, and for his few fans, for his community, to be able to support him. So that's the only way to go there, actually, to be global in the sense of like every user can do everything.
Awesome. Brad, biggest opportunity for marketplaces, maybe focus on domains, and where do you see the adoption happen? Where do you see adoption in 5 years?
Well, I think that one thing that could be really big for marketplaces would be more payment methods. So right now, you tend to be forced to pay in ETH, and this is not true, I know, for Nifty Gateway. But for a lot of platforms, you're not able to bid in any currency that you want, and most of the money in the world is not in ETH. So that is not the currency that most people hold, and so we can probably expand the liquidity of marketplaces quite a bit if we add in more currencies, Bitcoin, dollars, whatever. We see, I think, more than 60% of our transactions from credit cards and PayPal, for example. So I think that's a really big, massive opportunity. Maybe not the thing that every crypto person loves to hear the most, but if you're just trying to convert users, then and onboard users, I think that's a pretty big low-hanging fruit kind of thing that the NFT market, by and large, could embrace.
Cool. And Miguel, biggest opportunity, and where do you see NFTs in 5 years?
I'll say we'll take the hybrid approach. You kind of cater to the big crypto folks. Just keep pitching and saying the NFTs are what's hot right now in the crypto space, and Nifty Gateway does offer payments in ETH. And then, as Brad kind of mentioned, we do accept credit cards, all major credit cards. So we make it relatively easy for that bigger audience to come onto the platform and just experience NFT space. And we're going to let the tech and the art speak for itself, and it'll showcase the capabilities of just enforcing scarcity and improving authenticity with blockchain tech and NFTs and art. 5 years from now, just we're thinking it for like a brand perspective. Like some of these NFT communities and just like NFT groups in general will be like brands. So we'll see like these big followings and just like dedication to certain people. And right now we're in like the supreme off-white kind of style of NFT market, and then in the future we'll see it more to like a more broader perspective and just some generalized communities where everybody will be able to buy what they like and essentially at ease. So we'll be gone with the posters and the photos on the wall, and it'll be more digital art hanging in people's rooms and offices. So it'll be really cool to see.
Very cool. So we're out of time. Miguel, Brad, and Alex, thank you very much for your time and for your contribution to this panel and to the NFT Summit. It was, I will say personally, it was very interesting to speak with you all, and I look forward to the next panel together.
Likewise. Thanks, Michael.